Welcome to day 6 of Faculty Development Program on Blockchain Technology. Today's speaker is Dr. Vandana Chetan Bagal. It's a great privilege for me to introduce Dr. Vandana Chetan Madam. She is working as professor at KK Wag Institute of Engineering, Education and Research, Nasik, at Maharashtra. She has completed her doctorate PhD in Faculty of Science in 2017 from Baba Saheb Ambedkar, Aurangabad, and she has completed her MCA in 2003 and BCS in 2000. She has got 18 years of teaching experience. She has published several papers in Scopus and SCI journals. She has delivered talks on introduction to software testing at CHME Society, delivered talk on statistics in Python in workshop organized by Department of MCA of KKVWIER, delivered a talk at national webinar on e-content development, delivered talk on Google Classrooms, and she has delivered talk on operating systems concepts. She has delivered talk on software testing, delivered talk on database management system and career opportunities. She is She has received honors and awards. She received Outstanding Woman in Science Award from Venus International Foundation for contribution and achievement in the field of science on 3rd March 2018 on the occasion of birth anniversary of Savitribai Phule. Received recognition from Meradai Social and Educational Society for completion of PhD degree on 3rd January 2018. 100% result award in theory examination held by University of Pune for the academic year 2011-12 and received recognition from KK Wag Institute of Engineering, Education and Research for completing 10 years of continuous service in that college. In that, She's area of interest are operating system, image processing, networking, blockchain, data science, machine learning. She has taught several subjects like C, data sectors, operating systems, computer graphics, system programming, artificial intelligence, Java, probability and statistics, principles of programming and practices, management science, management theory and practices, discrete mathematics. We are very happy to have you as today's speaker, madam. I request Dr. Vandana Chetan Bagal, madam, please take over the session and explain us. Thank you, madam. You are most welcome.
Yes. Thank you so much, sir, for my introduction. First, let me tell, sir, am I audible?
Yes, madam, you are audible.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Firstly, I will share my screen. Wait a minute, huh? I will share my screen first. Yes. Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Vandana Bagal, in charge head of the department and associate professor at KK Institute of Engineering, Education and Research. First of all, I would like to thank organizers of this faculty development program from Malineni Lakshmaiah Women's Engineering College. I would like to thank Dr. Gautam, head of the department, and Dr. Ramesh Chiluka for giving me this opportunity to deliver expert talk or deliver session on Hyperledger in this faculty development program. My special thanks to Mr. Madhu for identifying me and finding out me suitable for this session. Let us start for today's session. I'm sure you have gone through the topics like blockchain concepts and other related areas related to blockchain in the last 4 days. And today we are going to have details or insights about Hyperledger blockchain. And it is preferably, it is called as enterprise blockchain. And the most important thing is it is more demanding scale, and you will find more growth in the coming days in the Hyperledger blockchain. So let us try to understand what we are going to learn in today's session, or what we are going to explore about Hyperledger in this session. So before moving onwards, let us check what are the contents or what is the outline of today's session. Firstly, we will see what is Hyperledger. Yes, firstly, we understand what is the Hyperledger blockchain. As I told earlier, it is moreover called as enterprise blockchain. Then we will see why to go for Hyperledger. Because already public blockchain is there. You might have understand in the earlier 4 days about the public blockchain and what are the number of facilities and shares given by the public blockchain. So though it is very well working, why there is a need of Hyperledger blockchain or enterprise blockchain, that we will see. Then definitely we will see what is the difference between private blockchain and public blockchain. Then Hyperledger fabric we will see. Then channels, the channels, MSP and nodes. These are the more fundamental topics of Hyperledger blockchain. Then we will see the most important part of today's presentation, that is Hyperledger transaction flow. Once we understand how once any transaction floated on enterprise blockchain, that is Hyperledger, that how that transaction moves from one step to another step, that we are going to see in this Hyperledger transaction flow. So once we understand this, you will get the overall picture of Hyperledger transactions. Then we will see Hyperledger test network. And finally, we will see how to deploy Hyperledger and smart contract. Yes, with this, I will say that the most important part of today's presentation is the Hyperledger transaction flow. Now, before moving onwards, let us first check whether any prerequisite is required for this. So as you have already, we are in the 6th day of this faculty development program. So I'm sure you are having the basic and brief idea about the blockchain. So that knowledge is sufficient to understand the Hyperledger network. So only you need to know the basic knowledge of blockchain. So I'm sure in the earlier 4 days of this FDP, you have very good idea about the blockchain and all other related topics. So there is no prerequisite required except the basic concepts of blockchain. Now, let us start with our outline. The first one is, what is Hyperledger? In many a times you might have heard this word blockchain, then Bitcoin, Ethereum, Hyperledger. Sometimes you might have heard enterprise Hyperledger, then Composer, then Hyperledger Fabric. Okay, so many a times students or faculty also get confused with what actually Hyperledger is. Does it is a Hyperledger Composer or Hyperledger Fabric or enterprise blockchain or Hyperledger? What exactly it is? Okay, so let us understand what it is. In simple words, we have to just remember three magical words for to understand what is Hyperledger. That is private, permission, blockchain. Hyperledger means it is private, permission, blockchain. So we know very well the meaning of private. We know very well meaning of permission. Okay. Just now you have understood the public blockchain in earlier days. Okay. So you know whatever the facilities of public blockchain. Okay. Instead of that, Hyperledger is private. That means it is owned by a particular organization. That's why it is called as a private blockchain. Okay. So definitely there are some lacking. There are some issues with the public blockchain. Okay. That's why there is a need of private blockchain, which is Hyperledger. Okay, so as it is a private blockchain, that means it is owned by a particular organization or set of organizations. Okay, so obviously as it is a private blockchain, so if anyone wants to enter into this blockchain or anyone wants to access this blockchain, obviously they need to have take the permission from the owners or the members of this private blockchain. Okay, whereas this is not the case with the public blockchain. In the public blockchain, no need of permission. Okay, and the data which is stored on the public blockchain, it is available to all the nodes which are part of this public blockchain. Okay, whereas this is not the case with the Hyperledger, as it is a private blockchain and it is a permission blockchain.
Madam, screen is not sharing.
Yes, ma'am.
Screen is not sharing for us.
Okay. Let me check. Is it visible, ma'am, now?
No, madam. No, madam. It's not sharing for us. Yeah, now okay.
Oh. Is it visible?
Yes, madam. Okay.
I hope my screen is visible, madam, now.
Yes, madam. Yes.
Okay. Now I will continue. Just a minute. If I make the slideshow now, I think so then there is a problem. I just make the slideshow. Is my screen now visible?
Only Hyperledger. What is Hyperledger? That's all.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, that's it. Okay. So, Hyperledger means it is a private and permission blockchain. Okay. So, which we can use for a particular organization. So, it belongs to particular enterprise only. That's why it is a private blockchain. Okay. And we cannot become part of this until and unless we have permission. That's why it is called as private permission blockchain. Okay. So earlier you might have seen the various blockchains like Bitcoin or Ethereum and Solana blockchain. Okay, so all these are the public blockchain. All these are the public blockchains. So definitely these public blockchains are having some issues. That's why there is a need of Hyperledger. I think so. In earlier days, you have covered Bitcoin and Ethereum. So I am sure all of you are also aware of this Solana blockchain. If not, I will just brief within 1 or 2 minutes. Solana blockchain is, we can say, the extended version of Ethereum, or it is also called as Ethereum killer, because the Solana blockchain gives more better features as compared to the Ethereum. That better feature is most probably the time required to float any transaction on the blockchain required by Ethereum is quite more as compared to Solana blockchain. So Solana can process up to 65,000 transactions per second. Solana blockchain can process up to 65,000 transactions per second, whereas Ethereum can only handle approximately 30 transactions per second. That's why we can say that Solana blockchain is Ethereum killer. So there is one popular website for the blockchain. I will just open that website so that you will get the idea about the Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all. On the Google, we just write blockchain explorer, then it will show us. Yes, here you can see, just a minute. Here in on this side slide, just a minute. Yes, here in this slide website blockchain.org, we can see the number of blocks, or what do you mean by block, the transactions that we float on the blockchain. So how that transaction looks, what is its hash address, all these things we can see on this website. What is the current rate of the Bitcoin, then Ethereum. Yes.
Madam, website not visible, madam. Slide, what is
Okay,
Hyperledger slide is visible.
Just a minute. Huh? Okay, let it be. I will continue with presentation only. There is some problem. Okay, So up till now, we understood why Hyperledger is a private permission blockchain, and we have also gone through with the earlier blockchain, that is Bitcoin, then Ethereum and Solana blockchain. All these are the public blockchains. Okay, so definitely, though they are popular, though they are having some issues, that's why there is a need of Hyperledger or enterprise blockchain. Or these public blockchains are not having features suitable for a particular enterprise. That's why we can say that's why there is a need of enterprise blockchain. So firstly, let us understand why there is a need of enterprise blockchain. So up till now, at least we have understood that Hyperledger is used for a particular enterprise, for a particular organization, or we can say set of organization. So let us first understand why. Okay, why there is a need of Hyperledger for a particular organization, and what are the issues with the public blockchain. So let us try to understand what are the issues with the public blockchain by one example. Okay, so I hope now my screen is visible, madam.
Yes, madam. Yes,
madam.
Okay, yes, thank you. So on screen, you can see there are number of nodes and there is a connection between these nodes. Okay, this diagram is nothing but we have to understand it is a blockchain. Okay, and these are the nodes which are the part of this blockchain. Okay, and this is a public blockchain. Public blockchain means the main concept is the data or the blocks that are available with all the nodes is same. Okay, that means the node A, whatever blocks the node A is having, same blocks are available with the block B, same blocks are available with the block C, E and F. Okay, this you can see. So block A is having the same blockchain is available with the B, with the C, with the E and with the F. Okay, so with this we can say that all the nodes are having the same data, so there is a problem of confidentiality. Okay, so whatever blocks are available in the blockchain, all that blocks are shared with the nodes which are the part of this blockchain. Okay, so therefore there is a problem of confidentiality. Or in the case of enterprise wants to hide their data. Okay, so that it should not be shared, it should not be available with the other competitor organizations. Okay, so this facility is not available with the public blockchain, that one node can hide its data or cannot share its data with the other nodes. Okay, so this facility is not available with the public blockchain. So this we can say the issue with the public blockchain. That's why there is a need of Hyperledger or the blockchain which is specially suitable for a particular enterprise. So there is a problem of confidentiality because every node is having the same block. And whereas enterprise is more keen towards having the confidentiality about their data, about their clients' data, about their employees' data, about the concept or the theme they are using for for manufacturing their product. Okay, all these things they want to have the confidential from their competitors. So this is the main issue with the public blockchain. That's why we can say there is a need of enterprise blockchain, that is Hyperledger. Now, second issue is, let's say suppose the node A wants to add some data or add some block into this blockchain. Okay, so this node A has has created one block. Okay, now this block cannot be immediately shared or immediately get added to the public blockchain, because whenever any node wants to add the data, the first step that is required is the verification and validation from the other nodes. Okay, so node A wants to add one block. Okay, so before adding this block to the entire public blockchain, it is to be verify and validate from the all the other nodes present in the blockchain. Okay, so this particular block should be verified from the node B, C, E, and F. Okay, once all these nodes verify this block, then only it is added. Okay, now see. Now the new block which is created by the node A is added to the all the nodes after verification. Okay, so this verification and validation process is quite time consuming because, for example, in this slide, I have shown only 5 nodes are the part of this public blockchain. But in reality, there are thousands or thousand number of nodes can be the part of the public blockchain. So in such situation, if any particular node wants to add the block, then it is to be verified by all the nodes which are the part of that blockchain, and obviously it is a time consuming to get the validation from all the nodes. Okay, or you may say that at least 50% of the nodes should get the green signal, yes, this block should be added, which is a part of consensus. Okay, you might have learned in the earlier days that 51% consensus is there, then that block is added to the blockchain. Okay, but still this 51% get the verification or validation from the 51% of the nodes which are part of this blockchain, it requires time. Okay, so this process is time consuming, whereas this is not the case with the Hyperledger blockchain. So that's why to get the validation from all these nodes or at least 51% nodes, it takes time. Okay, so obviously with this, it requires the time to create the block. Okay, then to get the validation from all the nodes. Okay, and then send this particular block to all the nodes present in the blockchain. Okay, so to get added a particular block in the blockchain, it has to go on with these 3 processes: to create the block, to validate the block, and after validation, float that block on the blockchain so that it is available with all the nodes which are part of this public blockchain. So obviously this process is a slow process, or we can say time consuming. Now, third issue with the public blockchain is it requires storage. It requires a quite more storage. As in this example, I have shown there are 5 nodes. Okay, so on every of this node, this particular blockchain is stored on that computer. Okay, on that particular node. So obviously, it requires a special storage area for this. And as within number of days, as the number of nodes are also increasing, then number of blocks are also increasing. Accordingly, the storage area is also increasing. Okay, so the storage area, the amount of storage area required to store this blockchain on a particular node is also the issue. And when we talk about the enterprise or organization, okay, so organization have to pay highly as the number of nodes increase for the storage purpose. Okay, as everything is related to the cost. Okay, and as once we add a particular node, okay, accordingly the cost is also increased for storing that block. Okay, so scalability, we can say, is the issue with the public blockchain. Okay, so up till now we understand the why there is a need of Hyperledger or enterprise blockchain. For that, we have understood what are the problems with the public blockchain. That's why there is a need of enterprise blockchain. Now that problems are confidentiality, yes, Your data is not confidential because as the block is added to the node, it is available to all the nodes which are part of this public blockchain. Okay, so all the nodes are having the same blockchain available with them. So your data is not confidential, it is available with all the nodes. Okay, this is the problem with the public blockchain. Yes, it is time consuming because whenever any node wants to add any block on the blockchain, they have to first create the block, then get it validate and verify by all the nodes which are part of that blockchain, and then float. Once it is approved, then float that block on entire network. So that's why it is time consuming. Yes, scalability is the third issue with the public blockchain. So if we summarize why Hyperledger, then there is no confidentiality with the public blockchain, time consuming, and no scalability. So enterprise goes to Hyperledger. In market also we find more job opportunities with the Hyperledger. Now let us try to understand the difference between public blockchain and private blockchain. Okay. Now, there are various properties I have identified. Let us go one by one. We will first discuss about the public blockchain. Yes. Does the public blockchain is decentralized ledger, having decentralized ledger? Yes. Because whatever nodes are the part of the public blockchain, all the nodes are having the same blockchain available with them, same blocks available with them. Okay, that's why it is a decentralized ledger. Okay, does the same ledger every node is having in the public blockchain? Yes, same blocks, same data is available with all the nodes which are part of the public blockchain. So same ledger is available with all the nodes in the public blockchain. Okay, immutable. In once the block is added to the chain, once the block is added to the blockchain, then no one can able to change its data. Because if any of the participant, if any of the node wants to change its data, then that particular block's hash address is get changed and it is get notified to all the members, all the nodes which are part of that blockchain. Okay, so it is unable to change in public blockchain. Okay, does it is having public blockchain is having an anonymous behavior? Yes, it is having anonymous behavior. As in the public blockchain, your data is available publicly. Your data is available publicly, but it is available in the encrypted form. In the encrypted form, you cannot directly read it. Let us have the example. Suppose you have done one transaction on this public blockchain. Okay, and that transaction is, suppose you have sent 5 bitcoins to your friend. Okay, so you have address, you have your own address on network. Okay, on that address it shows 5 bitcoins sent to your friend. Okay, but to whom? Okay, you know that you have sent 5 bitcoins to your friend. Okay, but what is the address of your friend? That you know. Okay, but that address belongs to whose name? That address belongs to whose name? Okay, this information is not provided on the block. Okay, that's why public blockchain is having a anonymous behavior. Does all node verification is necessary with the public blockchain? Yes, just now we have discussed. If any node wants to add the data, wants to add the block, that before adding that block to the blockchain, it should be verify and validate from all the nodes which are part of that blockchain. Okay, and once all the nodes have given their output about the validation and verification, among that output, if 51% of the nodes are giving the green signal, okay, then that particular block is added. Okay, so all node verification is required in public blockchain. Okay, then next one is smart contract is there with the public blockchain. Yes, smart contract is, what is smart contract? It is just a program which is used to run the transaction. Okay, so yes, smart contract is there with the public blockchain. Yes. Does the public blockchain is transparent? Yes, obviously it is transparent, because whatever data or whatever blockchain is available with particular nodes, same blockchain is blocks are available with all the nodes which are present in that blockchain network. Okay, so obviously it is a transparent. So if we see all this green tick, we can easily say that yes, public blockchain is much better, because it is having all these facilities. It is there is decentralized ledger, same ledger is available. You cannot change your data. Anonymous behavior is there. All node verification. Yes, it is really a good facility. Smart contract is also there. Okay, which runs your transaction, and transparency is also maintained in the public blockchain. Okay, so no one can change the data. If they change the data, accordingly hash address will change. Okay, so we can view that public blockchain is much better. Okay, but still there is a need of private blockchain. Why? Let us understand. So does the private blockchain is having a decentralized ledger? Yes. Okay, your private blockchain or Hyperledger is having multiple organizations are the part of this private blockchain. Okay, so not all the organizations which are part of that blockchain are having the decentralized ledger. Okay, but we can say that two organizations are sharing their ledger. So these two organizations are might having the same ledger. So yes, decentralized ledger is there. Same ledger is there with the private blockchain? No. Okay. Now we are going to understand all these concepts on the next slide with one example also. Okay. Yes. What I told. Suppose in the private blockchain there are 5 organizations are the part of this private blockchain. Okay. Out of this five organization, 2 organizations might have the same ledger. Remaining 3 organizations might have the same ledger, but not all the organization, all the enterprises which are part of this private blockchain may not have the same ledger. Whereas this is not the case with the public blockchain. In public blockchain, whatever are the part of this public blockchain, whoever is the part of this public blockchain, all are having the same ledger. Whereas in private blockchain, yes, every organization is having their own decentralized ledger, but not all the members which are part of this private blockchain may not have the same ledger. Yes. Does the private blockchain is immutable? Yes, it is also immutable. Once the block is added, no one can change its data. Does it is having an anonymous behavior? Obviously not. It is not having an anonymous behavior, because being a part of any enterprise or any organization, okay, so within 2 organization, if there is any transaction, then both the organization enterprises must know to whom I am sending the data, to whom I am doing my transaction, to whom I am sending the money. Both the parties should know. Okay, so anonymous behavior, here there is no anonymous behavior. All node verification is necessary? No, all node verification is not necessary. Yes, smart contract is obviously there. Okay, because here also we want to run our transaction. Yes. Does it is a transparent? No, it is not transparent. Once again, I will tell, if 5 organizations or 5 enterprises are a part of private blockchain, so same data or same blockchain is not available with this 5 enterprises. Let us understand this with one example. Suppose we have one computer. Okay, suppose we have one computer. So obviously there is any manufacturing company who is manufacturing this computer. Okay, so let us have, this is a manufacturing company who manufactures computer. Okay, so once this manufacturing company has manufactured computer, then obviously they will require some retailer, okay, who will sell their these computers. Okay, so here is one retail shop. Okay, so this manufacturing company, once they have manufactured computers, they will contact this retail shop. Yes, we have manufactured thousands of computers. So would you like to buy our computer? So obviously this retail shopkeeper will say, yes, I want to buy so many number of computers. Okay. So next, so these thousand, suppose retailer requires 1,000 or 50,000 computers. So this manufacturing company obviously requires to contact any shipping agency. With them, they can send this 1,000 computers to the retailer, right? So, manufacturing company need to contact with the shipment company. Okay. So there is a channel, there is a communication between manufacturing and shipment company. Manufacturing company going to manufacture the number of computers, so they will contact the shipment company. Yes, we have manufactured these many computers, and will you send our computers to the particular retail shopkeeper? Okay, so there is a channel between manufacturing and the shipment company. Okay, so once these computers are available with the shipment company, okay, then the shipment company will contact to the retailer. Okay, so that I have received computers from so and so manufacturing company, and they have given me your address, so where I have to deliver these computers. Okay, so there is a channel between shipment company and the retail shopkeeper. Okay, now, so this retail shopkeeper has to do some advanced planning also, as he is going to buy the 1,000 number of computers. So obviously he requires some money. Okay, and suppose let us assume that he is not having that much money with them. Okay, so obviously he will go to the bank for the loan. Okay, so this retail shopkeeper will go to the bank that please give me some loan because I want to buy the computers. Okay, so the retail shopkeeper will contact to bank. Okay, to buy this computers. Okay, so once this retail shopkeeper have the loan and they have these computers, then obviously this retail shopkeeper will need the help from the marketing agency, so that this marketing agency will sell their computers or do the advertisement for them. Okay, so this retail shopkeeper will contact to the marketing agency. Okay, so with this we can understand that there is a channel between manufacturing and shipment and retail shopper, retail shop and bank, and retail shop and marketing agency. Okay, now with this example we can imagine easily that whatever communication is there between manufacturing and shipment company, okay, that communication should not be it is not needed that this communication should be also known to the retail shopkeeper, bank, and marketing agency, right? So whatever blockchain is there between manufacturing and shipment, that blockchain should be available, that ledger. Okay, that ledger should be available with only manufacturing and shipment. Okay, now same with the retail shopkeeper also. Okay, whatever communication between retail shopkeeper and bank, that communication should not be known to the marketing agency, that communication should not be known to the shipment, that communication should not be known to the manufacturing company. So retail shopkeeper and bank may have their separate ledger. Okay, same way retail shopkeeper and marketing agency, they may have their separate ledger. Okay, so with this we can understand that though all these enterprises are part of the same blockchain, of the same enterprise blockchain, okay, they are having their own ledgers. Okay, that is, ledger shared by manufacturing and shipment is same, ledger shared by retail and shop bank is same. Okay, but it is not known to the manufacturer. Ledger shared by retail shopkeeper and marketing agency is same, but it is not known to the shipment, bank and manufacturer. Okay, so let us check what we have understand in the earlier slide. Yes. So with this same example, see here in the private blockchain for the same ledger, I have put the cross. Okay, because same ledger is in the earlier example, you can see the same ledger is not shared by the all the participants, all the nodes. Okay, same ledger is not shared by all the participants. That's why there is a cross. Anonymous behavior, we have set the cross. Yes, anonymous behavior nahi hota hai private blockchain mein. How? Because whatever communication is there between retail shopkeeper and bank, okay, both the parties should know. Bank also should know to whom I am giving the loan, and retail shopkeeper should also know shopkeeper and shipment. Shipment companies knows to whom we are going to deliver the computers. Okay, and retail shopkeeper also knows from which shipment agency I am going to get the computers. Okay, so there is no anonymity in this enterprise blockchain. All node verification. Yes, there is no need of all node verification. How? Because whatever block is added by the manufacturer, okay, it should be verified by the shipment company only. Okay, why there is a rights given to the retail shopkeeper and marketing agency, though they are not part of the this transaction. Manufacturing company will manufacture the computers and they will send to the shipment company. So why there is a authentication or verification needed by the marketing or the bank? No need. Okay, so all node verification is not required. Okay, then last one is transparent. Yes, transparency is also not there in the private blockchain, as whatever ledger is shared by the manufacturing and shipment, that ledger is not available with the retail shopkeeper, marketing and bank. Okay, so the ledger or the data is not transparent. Okay, I hope it is clear the difference between public and private blockchain. Now, let us try to understand. Many times we heard this word Hyperledger fabric. Okay, when we talk about Hyperledger, now most probably people only talk about Hyperledger fabric. So, what it is, Hyperledger fabric? So, as my screen is not able to share when I open the website, okay. But if you open the website as www.hyperledger.org or Hyperledger Global Forum, okay, then you will come to know. Then you will come to know that there are number of projects developed by the developed by the Linux Foundation. Okay, and out of that project, the most popular one is the Hyperledger Fabric. Okay, that also we are going to see on the further slide. Okay, so let us see what is Hyperledger Fabric. So as I told, Hyperledger is an umbrella project. Why it is umbrella project? Huh? Because as I told, Linux Foundation, Hyperledger is an open source blockchain. Okay, and all the tools of Hyperledger are also open source. Okay, and it was developed by the Linux Foundation in 2015. Okay, now coming to the question, why it why it is an umbrella project? Okay, umbrella project means under this open source category, there are number of projects which comes under Hyperledger. Okay, so does we need to learn all these projects? Like I will tell you, Besu is there, Iroha is there, Fabric, Hyperledger Fabric is there. Okay. Likewise, there are number of projects for the Hyperledger which are developed by the Linux Foundation. So does we need to learn all these projects? No, not at all necessary. If you open that website now, Hyperledger Global Forum or Hyperledger Foundation, what are the project hosted by the Hyperledger Foundation, there you will get the idea, the number of projects. Okay, so no need to learn all that projects. Actually, why all that projects are developed now? That all that projects are the company specific or organization specific, based on the requirement or based on the requirement of nature of the organization, that projects were developed. Okay, but still, why people are always talking about the Hyperledger Fabric only? Hyperledger Fabric only. If you go with that website now, there you will get the reviews or the rating. Okay, there you will find the maximum rating is to the project Hyperledger Fabric. Okay, that's why when the people talk about the Hyperledger, they will generally talk about the Hyperledger Fabric, because this is the project which is worldwide used by most of the enterprises. Okay, on that website you will also see the companies which are part of the Hyperledger Fabric. Okay, so all that projects were developed by keeping in mind various organizations. Okay, you can also subscribe to the Hyperledger channel or global forum. You will find there number of videos related to Hyperledger, Hyperledger Fabric, Hyperledger Besu. Okay, there also you will find there are maximum videos on Hyperledger Fabric only, because it is most widely used Hyperledger blockchain. Okay, so let us understand why Hyperledger Fabric is more popular. Okay, as an earlier slide I told. Okay, why it is more popular, what the additional features it is having. Okay, so yes, it is a modular, scalable and secure. Okay, in Hyperledger Fabric, it is more customized. You can add modules. Okay, you can delete modules, you can update modules. Okay, so it is more user friendly. So whatever we do in this, it is in the form of modules. Okay, whatever you do in this Hyperledger Fabric blockchain, that is in the form of modules. So we can add and delete these modules. It is more scalable than the public blockchain. आप उसको easily scale कर सकते हो. Okay, it is secure also, and it is permission network, which is established decentralized trust in a network of known participant rather than an open network of anonymous participants. Okay, there are confidential transactions. Okay, and yes, it is easy to get started. Okay, your program smart contract in the languages your team works in today, instead of learning custom languages and architectures. Okay, so whatever language you know very well, with that you can start with the Hyperledger Fabric. Okay, so why Hyperledger Fabric is more popular? So what are the fundamental concepts in it? So it is having a chain code. What is chain code? Actually, this word is not written with the space, it is a combined word. Okay, mistakenly. So what is chain code? It is a Hyperledger program. Okay, just like earlier we have discussed that you are having smart contract on Ethereum. Okay, so what it is? It is a program on Ethereum. Okay, in the same way, for the Hyperledger Fabric, there is a program which is called as a chain code. Then next one is MSP, that is membership service provider. Okay, we will learn this in detail on the further slide. Okay, and the last one is channel. Okay, what we have seen in the earlier example, na, manufacturing company and shipment. Okay, within them there is a channel. Okay, so what is the channel? Channel is a private communication pathway between two or more members of a hyperledger. Same we have discussed with that example. Okay, there is a private communication between the manufacturing company and shipment, private communication between the bank and the shipment, bank and the retail shopkeeper. Okay, so this communication is through the channel. Yes. Here you can see the channels, the green lines which I have shown, that is nothing but the channel between the two nodes, or we can say the two enterprises. Okay, now let us understand what is membership service provider. So membership service provider means, as suppose we have our own enterprise blockchain, so whatever members or whatever nodes are going to be added in this blockchain, or whenever any node wants to send any transaction or any block, okay, at that time some authentication agency is required, which will check whether that block is authenticate, whether that node is authenticate, okay, whether it is a part of that blockchain, or it should not be any malicious block, it should not be a hacker. Okay, so this should be verified by the member service provider. So MSP is a modular component that is used to manage identities on the blockchain network. Now, next one is the access control list. Okay, access control list means it is a list which tells which members can perform operations and which operations they can perform. Okay, like in the earlier example, we have seen bank and retailer. Okay, so bank can have read and write permission. Okay, so this access control list will maintain the list of rules. It is having the list of nodes and what the permission they are having. Okay, so it is a list of rules that specifies which users or systems are granted or denied access to a particular object or system resource. Okay, now let us go more deeper. What are the different types of nodes available on the enterprise blockchain? Okay, so there are three types of node: committing node, then endorsing node, and ordering node. Okay, what are the committing nodes? Okay, as we have seen in the earlier example, that the manufacturing company and shipment have the same, they share the same ledger. Then bank and retail shopkeeper have the same ledger. Bank and marketing agency have the same ledger. Okay, so as within the same within this one enterprise blockchain, number of ledgers are present. Okay, so we need one committing nodes which will keep all the copies of the ledger. Okay, so committing nodes are the nodes that have all the copies of the ledger. Okay, then next one is the endorsing node. The endorsing node kya hoti hai? See, as on the Ethereum we are having the smart contract which executes your transaction. Okay, in the same way, endorsing nodes can execute our chain code. Okay, and what is chain code? That we have seen on the earlier slide. Okay, ordering nodes. So as we have seen in the earlier example, number of transactions are there within the two enterprises. Okay, so we need to sequence these transactions. Okay, which transaction should be happen first, and then next one, and then next one. Okay, so this task is done by the ordering nodes. Now chain code. Yes. What is chain code? It is a program which might be written in Go language, Node.js, or Java, in any language, in any of the interface. Okay, so it is just your program to execute your transaction or to execute your smart contract. So okay, so you can say that just example is your C program. Okay, your C program is compiled by the compiler, which is also written in C language. Okay, in the same way, whatever is your transaction, to execute that transaction we require chain code. So to execute one program we required another program. Okay, so chain code is a program which runs, and what is your, so that means one program is running another program. Important part of this today's session, that is Hyperledger transaction flow. So let us understand this transaction flow with one example again. So what is the first step? Client initiating the transaction. Okay. So here we are assuming that we are having the enterprise blockchain, that is Hyperledger blockchain. Okay. Within that blockchain, number of nodes, nodes are there. Okay. Out of that, one of the node or one of the client has initiated a transaction. Okay. So suppose this is our client, okay, which has initiated a read transaction. Okay. That means this client, this particular node wants to perform read operation on our blockchain. Okay. So immediately this read access or read permission is not given to the client. So before that, obviously we require validation and verification. Okay. Okay, this is our client who wants to perform read operation on our Hyperledger, okay, or our enterprise blockchain. This is our enterprise blockchain. So before that, it should be verified by the membership service provider. Okay, so this MSP will verify whether this client is authenticate client or not, whether this client is really a part of our blockchain or not, our Hyperledger or not. Okay, once it gives the green signal, then Hyperledger will check the access control list. Okay, that means in this list it is get verify whether this client is really having the read permission or not. Okay, MSP will verify the identity of the client, whether it is an authenticate client or not. Access control list will check whether this client is having the read permission or not. When the access control list is also gives the green signal, then we move to the second step of the transaction flow. Now, the second step is validation of the transaction. Okay. Yes. Now, this client can have this facility of read transaction. Okay. But this is our client. Okay. But this transaction we need to verify from our endorsing node. Okay. What the endorsing node is having? It is having a chain code. Okay. What this chain code will do? It will run our smart contract. That means it will run the read transaction. Okay. So, as this client is also a part of our Hyperledger, okay, this client will send the transaction proposal, read transaction proposal to the endorsing nodes present on the Hyperledger. So let's say there are 3 endorsing nodes. So all these nodes get this transaction proposal, okay, at their end. Then they will run the smart contract. They will run the chain code, because smart contract is associated with Ethereum. Okay, with Hyperledger, there is a chain code. Okay, so all these endorsing node will run the chain code for this transaction proposal. Okay, for validating the transaction. Okay, and whatever output they will get, okay, that is our next step. Yes, simulating the transaction. Okay, that means endorsing node has executed the chain code for the transaction proposal received, and whatever output of that chain code, it is sent back to the client, okay, with the signed transaction proposal. Okay, the first endorsing node has signed that output. Second endorsing node has also signed the output, and third endorsing node has also signed the output. Okay. Now, all these three endorsing node has run the chain code, and whatever is their output, it is sent back to the client. Okay. Now, as in the public blockchain, whenever any new block is added, it is to be verified by all the remaining nodes present in the public blockchain, and whatever output is received, based on that output, if 51%, here there is a concept of consensus. Okay, if 51% consensus, that means 51% of the node, whatever output is given, it is applicable to the particular client. Okay, so if out of this three endorsing node, whatever output, if the output given by two endorsing node is same, that output is applicable. Okay, that is 51%. Out of three, whatever majority is there, okay, at least two endorsing nodes having the same output, okay, that output is applicable. That is 51% consensus. Okay, so let us assume that 51% consensus is decided by the client. Okay, then whatever is the output of 51% endorsing node, that output is then broadcasted to the ordering node. Okay, now we have already seen what is the task of ordering node. The task of ordering node is they need to order the transaction, in which sequence the transactions will flow. Okay, so as our transaction is validated by the endorsing node, so our last aim is that transaction, that block, we need to float on the Hyperledger network. Okay, but which transaction should be flowed first, okay, that is decided by the ordering node. Okay, so now client broadcast this transaction to the ordering node to make the order of that transaction. Okay, now what the ordering transaction, the next step is, it will order our transaction and create one block. Okay, so this is our order transaction, ordering node. Okay, they have made the order of our transaction and they have created a block. Okay, now this block we have to send for the verification and validation by the committing node and the endorsing node. Okay, see, this block is created and it is sent to the all the committing node and all the endorsing node. Okay, now these nodes will verify this block. Okay, yes. Okay, peers validate each transaction in the block. Okay, so all these peers will validate. Peers means you're committing and endorsing node. Ordering node has broadcasted that block to the committing node and the endorsing node. Okay, and these nodes have validated this transaction in the block. Okay, now, okay, as it is valid, verify. Okay, now it is sent back to the client. Okay, and now committing to their ledger. Okay, now their ledger means, why here I have used this word their ledger, as there is a separate ledger for manufacturing and shipment. Okay, and there is a separate ledger for bank and the retail shopkeeper. Okay, so that's why I have used here committing to their ledger. Okay, and then this block is sent to the our Hyperledger network. Okay, sorry, Hyperledger blockchain. Okay, understood? So yes, it is quite lengthy and confusing. So let's have a recap for the Hyperledger transaction flow. Firstly, client will initiate the transaction. Then that transaction is verified by the membership service provider, whether the client is authenticated. and whether the client is having that permission by the checking access control list. Then validation of transaction. Okay. How the validation of transaction? The client will send that block to the endorsing node, and at the endorsing node will run the chain code. Okay. And then endorsing node will send the output to the client with the signed transaction proposal, and based on the 51% consensus, your proposal is get verified for the transaction that client has initiated. Okay, signed transaction proposal. Then client will broadcast that transaction to the ordering node. Okay, ordering node will make the order when that transaction should be flowed on the enterprise blockchain. Then ordering node will create the block, and that block is sent to the committing node and endorsing node present on the enterprise blockchain. Then peers validate each transaction in the block. Okay, once it is validated, then it is sent to the client again. Okay, and they will commit to their ledger. Okay, so these are the Hyperledger transaction flow. So there are 8 steps. Okay, so I think so within this 8 step, what is the job of Hyperledger enterprise blockchain, and how the transaction is floated, it is created, verified throughout your Hyperledger blockchain. Okay, and once all these steps are over, then finally it is floated on the enterprise blockchain. Okay, so there are 8 steps. Okay, now let us try to understand Hyperledger test network. Why Hyperledger test network only? See, Hyperledger is having the 2 types of network. One is Hyperledger enterprise network, and another one is Hyperledger test network. So here now we are going to see the Hyperledger test network, because Hyperledger enterprise, for that we need the real-time project, real-time application. So here I will give you brief idea about the Hyperledger test network. Yes, it is having a ordering organization. Now we know very well ordering means what. So this ordering organization obviously having ordering node, which orders our transaction, and just like earlier in the enterprise blockchain, we are having MSP. Here we are having CA, that is certifying authority. Okay, so in Hyperledger test network, we are having ordering node and certifying authority. Now let us have, there are consider there are 2 organizations, organization 1 and organization 2. Okay, and within this 2 organizations, we are going to form Hyperledger test network. Yes, so organization 1 is having some node. Okay, let's just have peer 1, and organization 2 is also having some node peer 1, and within them there is a channel. Okay, and both will have the CA, that is certifying authority. Why it is necessary? Whether the peers are authenticate peers or not. Yes, then there is a state database. Why there is a need of state database? Okay, for that also I will explain with one small example. Yes, both the organization will have this state database. Why it is needed? Let's say, suppose I have one computer, or in Hyperledger term, we may say one node, okay, whose ID is 123 and its ownership is with the Kshitij. Okay, so after some days, Kshitij has left the company, or Kshitij don't want to be the part of that. Then Kshitij will say that now I want to left this ownership. Okay, so nextly with the same computer ID, Karan is having the ownership. Okay, then after some days, Karan has also left this ownership. Then it goes to the Kim. After some days, then it goes to Raj, and then it goes to Rahul. Okay. Now, if anyone asks that who is the owner of the computer ID 123, then our Hyperledger, if there is no state database, then our Hyperledger has to undergo all the transaction from the inception. Okay, then he will get the proper track that initially there is a Kshitij, then Karan, then Kim, then Raj, and then Rahul. Okay, so obviously it requires time. Okay, here I have just shown the 5 ownership, but in reality there might be hundreds or thousands of ownership with the same node. Okay, then it is more and more time consuming just to know who is the owner of the particular node. But if we have the state database, we get this answer immediately, because state database will have the track of latest transaction. State database will have the track of latest transaction. So we will get the immediate answer that the ownership is with the Rahul. Yes, with this I have finished this Hyperledger. Yes, one more thing I want to show, that how to install this Hyperledger on your system. That also I will share with you. Just a minute. Huh? Yes. How to install the Hyperledger? Most probably try to use the Ubuntu system. If you don't have Ubuntu operating system, then you may go for the virtual box. Okay, then by using virtual box, by having the Windows or any other operating system, you can have the Ubuntu. Then you have to first install Hyperledger Fabric prerequisite setup. You have to install curl, then Node.js, Git installation, then Python, libtool, Docker, and Docker Compose. Okay. Here I have also given how to install this curl. Okay, what command you should run on the command prompt of the Ubuntu. How to install JS. Okay, all the commands I have given. Then Git installation, Python installation, libtool, how to install Docker. Okay, once all these things are installed, then you can install Hyperledger. Okay, for that you have to run this command. Okay, to download and set up the Hyperledger Fabric. Okay, and once you run this command, most probably you will get the bunch of errors. Okay, uh, if you get these errors, then run this command. Okay, to fix all the bugs that you are getting. Okay, so if you run this command, then all the bugs will be removed. Okay, then again run the setup of the Hyperledger Fabric. Okay, if you are again getting the errors, then again run this command. Okay, then you can use the Hyperledger fabric, and you can float your test application as one transaction read or write on the Hyperledger test network. So once again, I thanks to all the organizers and all the participants who have listened patiently my session on Hyperledger. So thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. I
Thank you,
hope
madam.
all of you. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, madam. Thank you for enlightening us in the blockchain Hyperledger, enterprise blockchain, and the difference between private and public blockchains, and its modularity, scalability, and security against and member service providers, access control list, and different types of nodes which are used in the Hyperledger, and chain codes and transaction flows, Hyperledger transaction flows, and all you have to covered. And this session will enlighten us in Hyperledger session, and also given that how to install the Hyperledger fabric, what are the prerequisite for the setup and everything. Thank you, madam. Thank you once again for accepting our invitation and giving this excellent session for our faculty members. It means our faculty fraternity will use this opportunity. I issued that. And today's is the last session, so I would like to conclude all the sessions which were going on from this last week. The first session is the first day session is started by Dr. K. Sridhar, is the associate professor, BITS, Nusra, Ranchi, and Jharkhand. Is started with the introduction to blockchain, and started as a the glue on the blockchain, and giving various ideas how we are using, and all these things will be covered by Dr. K. Sridhar. And I am thank you to Dr. K. Sridhar Patnaik sir. And second day, the session will be started with Dr. P. Radhakrishna. Dr. P. Radhakrishna, professor at NIT Warangal. He's given an introduction about the smart contracts, how we have to write, and what is the need of smart contracts, and all this will be given by Dr. P. Radhakrishnan sir. And I thank Radhakrishnan sir for giving this opportunity for us. And the third day session is covered by Mr. Rohit sir, giving Ethereum blockchain and creating a smart contract, and he's giving the some started as an hands-on for creating smart contracts and all. And I'm thank you to Rohit sir. And the fourth and fifth sessions is covered by the CEO of Make Skilled, Mr. Madhu Parvataneni. He given a wonderful sessions on the hands-on sessions, starting with the IoT sensor data in blockchain and end-to-end decentralized application using Ganesh, Truffle, and Solidity and Python. And the last session, which is given by Dr. Vandana C. Bagal, professor at KK Wag Institute of Engineering, Education and Research, Nasik, Maharashtra. Madam is given on the Hyperledger, and why we are going to Hyperledger, and what is the difference between Ethereum and Hyperledger, and the other extension of this Hyperledgers, and all these things will be covered. I thank Madam also. And finally, I thank to Mr. Madhu Parvataneni for supporting us to done this FDP under the EC department of Malineni Lakshmaiah Women's Engineering College. I thank the special thanks to Mr. Madhu for always our association with you and your company. And I think this FDP session will enlighten all the faculty members towards the latest technology like blockchain in supporting with your Web3 and Metaverse technologies. So thank you one and all. And the faculty are eagerly waiting for the certification and all. They are asking so many questions on the WhatsApp. So I'm assuring you that who have attended all the courses, that is all the days, that means 80% and above attendance, they will get a certification in online. So thank you all the faculty, and thank you, madam, once again for giving this opportunity. I will contact you in personal because I need some more support for blockchain technology because I was started the work on blockchain technology. So I need some more support from you. So I will contact you, madam, in future also. Thank you, madam. Thank you once again.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Madhu is not there. So, okay, thank you, madam. Thank you. I will close this session.
Oh,
Okay, thank you, madam.
yes, yes. Yes, thank you.